Illinois is on track to be the first state to ban police officers from lying to children during interrogations. The state passed this bill last week in an attempt to combat false confessions and wrongful convictions. Illinois' governor is expected to sign the bill into law in the coming weeks. For more on this, I want to bring in Rebecca Brown. She is the Director of Policy for the Innocence Project. Rebecca, welcome. Thanks very much for being with us. So how often do U.S. law enforcement officers lie to elicit confessions, and what types of lies are minors often told?
Right. So, it's hard to estimate how often it's done, in large part because in many instances, interrogations are not even recorded. So it's unclear, the frequency with which this takes place, but it is legally permissible in all 50 states. Law enforcement is permitted to use deception, and the types of deception they can use are lying about the presence of evidence that does not even exist. So, for instance, telling someone that their co-defendant implicated them in a crime and they didn't do that, or lying about a forensic test that was not performed or may have been performed but didn't necessarily point to that person. They can say, we have a bloody fingerprint and it matches to you, even if that forensic test was never conducted.
So, I think, Rebecca, for a lot of people, they may not realize that this is allowed under the law. How often does this lead to false confessions?
Well, we know from the nation's DNA-based exoneration cases, of which there are almost 400, that in about 30% of those cases, people gave a false confession to a crime they did not commit. And those are cases where we can prove it through DNA testing. So, in fact, while it's a counterintuitive phenomenon, it is quite a frequent phenomenon, unfortunately.
Well, when former President Obama was an Illinois state senator, he sponsored a statute requiring the recording of interrogations. What did the state find through these recordings, and did those findings play a role in this new bill?
Sure. Well, Illinois became the first state in the country to pass a statute in this area. It was sponsored by President Obama, then a state senator. The person who then took over his seat later was Senator Peters, who actually sponsored this piece of legislation, the next generation of confession reform, which bans deception for juveniles. But what those tapes sometimes show us, tragically, and this is not just in the state of Illinois, but across the country, is that deception is used. It is a guilt presumptive method. And in fact, it yields confessions, not just from the guilty, but unfortunately and tragically also from the innocent.
Well, you testified in front of Oregon's House Committee about a similar bill, and another has also been drafted in New York. What is the status of these bills?
Sure. So the proposal in Oregon has already passed the full Senate. Just tonight, there was a hearing in the House Rules Committee, so it has to pass the Rules Committee and then proceed to the floor. And that bill is very similar to Illinois'. It bans deception by law enforcement of juveniles. The New York proposal expands that into adults as well, and this is a critical point, that perfectly mentally capable adults provide false confessions all the time. But the New York proposal, unfortunately, is languishing. It has not yet received a hearing, and we're very hopeful that that happens soon. But we are incredibly excited about what has already transpired in Illinois and what seems to be on the precipice of transpiring in Oregon.
Well, why have states just now begun drafting legislation around this? Are other states likely, even more states likely, to follow suit?
I believe that in many ways, this reform has grown out of what we've learned from video recording interrogations, which was really the first generation of confession reform. Now more than half the states mandate the recordation, the electronic recordation of interrogations. And it really was what we learned from those tapes. We learned the frequency with which deception is used. That I think really moved the Innocence Project and other organizations, including the Center on Wrongful Conviction, to promote promote this legislation around the country. And so we began to see movement just this year for the first time. We're thrilled, and we do expect other states to take this up, because I think, when people hear, that it's legally permissible to lie to people at their most vulnerable moments when they're being interrogated for serious crimes, this should not be.
Right, and to think juveniles, especially being pressured in these kinds of situations, it is easy to understand how, after a certain point, they would go ahead and try to do and say whatever was necessary to try and bring an end to the interrogation. Rebecca Brown for us. Rebecca, thank you very much for your time and insight.
Thanks so much for having me.